Hey, Job here. On this channel, I invest 100% of my income and live out of my Robinhood brokerage account. All that in service of the aggressive goal of retiring by 40 years old. Today, you get to see that in practice and see how I use margin to pay all my bills and how that enables me to invest my full 2.38K weekly paycheck and live off my Robinhood portfolio. Step by step, you'll see how I invest to build monthly cash flow that'll eventually exceed my monthly expenses and replace my full salary. I'm truly paying myself first in the very real sense of the word. And yeah, honestly, feels great every week. As always, you'll get radical transparency on my channel. I share my real numbers and you see exactly how much skin I have in the game with any given position. You can follow along with my portfolio by checking the free Snowball portfolio link in the description below. And if you appreciate all the transparency, make sure to give a like and subscribe. As usual, just a quick disclaimer, this video is for entertainment and education purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor and nothing here should be taken as financial, investment, or tax advice. I'm simply sharing my personal investing journey and documenting my own results. So make sure you have a good read of this whole disclaimer. And this is the weekly flowchart of how I pull off investing 100% of my income and living out of my brokerage. And yeah, I won't go over it because I'll basically just be running through this flowchart live in the video. So you're just going to get to see this in practice. So pause if you want to just kind of have an idea and let's just get started. If we check on the market here today, definitely a bit regretful because it turns out with Robinhood Banking, my paycheck actually deposits a day earlier than it did on spending or even on my secondary brokerage account. So yesterday there was like quite a bit of a dip, right? But didn't have time with work and stuff to buy it. Maybe I'll have to adjust my paycheck investing schedule knowing this, but we'll see. Yeah, it's come up a little bit today. So it was up to 3.3% this morning and then came back down and it's kind of going back up here. But still at the end of the day though, we had like quite a bit of dips last week, right? And we're still much lower than that, which is nice. So still buying the dip here in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, if we look at year to date, right? Like it's dipped since then. So buying a little bit of this dip, which is great. Yeah, as you know, whether the market's green or red, I'll be buying. So let's just get the paycheck transferred first. Unfortunately, again, I can't show this anymore. I'm on Robinhood Banking now, so I'll transfer my full $2,386 paycheck. So I'm just kind of doing this from the app right now. And there were issues with Robinhood Banking earlier, but let's see. Hopefully it's resolved. All right, so it's all transferred over. Great, you saw this update here. Saw this update. So my buying power goes up by double amount the paycheck. My margin total goes up. My margin used goes down, right? I had a lot of questions about this, about how that works. So yeah, the margin balance goes down, but then now that I'm going to be investing it, I'm basically going to get it back up to the point it was at, right? And 45.8K of cash available for withdrawal roughly. And let's just get that all invested. So let's just have a look at stuff. So we take a look at like what's red right now. So on the growth side of things, so I'm going to do 10% of my growth portfolio, right? So yeah, just doing this for effect for 10%. Of course, I know how to do 0.1 easily, but just to show it visually. So yeah, $238 that we need to do for the growth side of things. So we take a look here. Yeah, I was originally going to do DRAM today just to kind of get it above $1,000. But honestly, yeah, seeing that IALT is a little bit in the red here, I'm thinking I might just do that today. As I mentioned, IALT is like a fresh position, right? And it's a little bit of a hedge because it's a long short, has a good international exposure. And what really impressed me with this one is really just that, like, see how, like, where's the Iran conflict here, right? It was not affected by the dip at all from that. And it just kind of kept trucking along. So that's been impressive. I think it'll just be a nice, just alternative assets. They're not kind of represented in my portfolio as much. So I think I'm just going to do that. So let's just do 238 in ILT. So invest that. Great. So minus 238. Cool. So this much is left to invest. And then on the high yield side of things, let's see, what should we invest in? So yeah, so everything else is pretty much like T-SPY, I won't be investing in. So like a little bit of like kind of the soft rules I have just because I want to keep the money working through the month. So anything that's paid out already, I don't want to quite invest in it just because if I invest in it, I won't get the payout on that in the rest of the month. So T-SPY's out of the question, KGLD's out of the question here, KCOP, XPay. So I kind of have the choice between like TDAC, BTCI, MLPI, QQI, SPY, and not SPY, that's my YouTube earnings. So there's that and some of these weeklies, BLOX and GIAX. If we check the dip here, so we can see that BLOX is down quite a bit, right, with the crypto dip that we had. KGLD and KCOP would have been nice to invest in given how much it's fallen in the last 10 days. GIAX is down quite a bit as well. So I'm thinking, honestly, I might just do a split between GIAX and BLOX. So GIAX, honestly, I've been impressed with it since I started investing into it. Yeah, I just like its diversified exposure across indexes and across international. It's had a nice recovery from the Iran dip too, seeing this. So, and has a little bit of a dip still. And BLOX has just had just got hit by the crypto downturn and like the chips affecting it as well too. And that has a little bit more diversified crypto exposure. So I'm thinking I might just split this amount between the two. So if we divide this by 2, so there's like 1074. So let's just do 1074 into GIAX. Great. And then do another 1074 into BLOX. So let's do that. So still down there, right? Every penny, 13 cents too. Every cent of my paycheck I'm investing. Let's do that. Great. And also, just as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I am investing my weekly dividends now, right? So this week I'm continuing the experiment, except I'm not doing 100% of the weekly dividends. I'm going to do 50% of them. So if we take that, right, and then take like 438 of the chippy, 181.68 multi, and 124.10 of YMAX, divide that by 2. So 353.08. And actually, this is a little bit off. I actually calculated it yesterday, but it's closer to 352.95 based on the Robinhood history. But I'm really doing that just because, yeah, I want to help supercharge the income that I'm adding to the portfolio. And then also I want to keep my cash available for withdrawal growing month to month. I think the problem that I had last month with investing the full weeklies is that, yeah, it just ended up dropping my cash available for withdrawal month to month, which I didn't like. So hopefully by doing 50% instead, we'll be better there on that regard. And then also any of the monthlies, those just deposit to cash. So I'm just really doing this for the weeklies plus BLOX and GIAX, right? Since they're weekly. So yeah, and for that one, I was thinking to actually just do that into, yeah, honestly, I would have done it in KGLD, KCOP, or like T-SPY, given that they're red, into like a safer one. But BCAT's a little bit in the red here, just 1%. But I'm thinking I might just do that, honestly. Let's see if there's anything like find a dip that I might have missed. Yeah, XPay is down quite a bit here when you look at it, right? XPay, BCAT. Yeah, maybe should I do XPay instead, actually? No, XPay is paying out today, but let's just do BCAT. Just so it's a little bit in the red here, and let's just buy a little bit of that dip. I know I'm buying it a little bit of a premium to NAV. Someone in the Discord mentioned the good point that like ECAT might be a better option in that regard. Maybe I might consider this in the future and just to have both and then just really invest based on the premium or discount at NAV. But you can kind of see that this trades at a little bit of a discount to NAV. BCAT is trading a little bit of a premium here. I think it's like 5% I calculated yesterday roughly. But I think this is okay. This has like a 12-year term, so has time to kind of go over and under. And we'll see. Maybe I'll just have a dual BCAT and ECAT thing because they have pretty similar things. The only difference with ECAT is like has ESG filtering component, which personally I don't really care about, but like the discount to NAV is hard to ignore, and they have like similar yield and stuff like that. So it might be interesting. And yeah, we'll just do BCAT. So let's do 352.95. So half my weekly dividends this week, and those will be depositing later today. So that should kind of just bump up. And great. So that's invested. And also one thing that's nice with BCAT, I missed this the other day, but I am very curious in its holdings. It's actually holding some private shares in SpaceX here. So I wonder if once the SpaceX IPO happens next week, if this will kind of get paid out to them, and that will be a nice bump, assuming the price comes out higher for them. But yeah, so they have a good mix of like equities and fixed income and like debt and stuff like that. So yeah, I like the diversity this provides compared to the rest of my portfolio. And let's see. So now that's the full paycheck invested. You can see that I really invested my full paycheck, every penny, right? Down to this last cent. And now let's just pay bills. So it's actually going to be a light bill day today. So if we check here, we're in July and in June, and there's only one bill here. We have to pay what's in orange today by the 15th. And HELOC is paid already just because I had my unemployment stuff that got paid out. So that actually went to paying that off plus the principal. And yeah, so there's really only my Amazon credit card to pay here. So $64.98. So I'll just get that transferred over on my phone. Again, I can't show this, unfortunately. So $64.98. Let's do that. So I'm basically just going to transfer it on margin from my account to my Robinhood Banking. So I basically put it in savings because it has like the 4.25% high yield right now. So 64.98, just want to confirm, cool. And then do that to my savings account, and then I'll go after the video to draw that out. Great. So that's paid, should see this go down. Yep, there you go. And that's my bills paid. So you can kind of see where the numbers ended up here after that. And let's just get my sheet updated. So we'll get BCAT, IALT, BLOX, and GIAX open. All right, and then let's just update my sheet. So we'll see here that my margin total went up, right? By the number of my paycheck minus my bills. So this number keeps growing, right? And increases my availability of margin. My margin used here, you'll notice, has gone up a bit, right? Because of the extra bill that I paid. And yeah, so that's that. And then let's just get the positions updated. So for BCAT 1580 will be a little bit of an average down, 1 cent average down. Yeah, and that's partly why I like kind of updating this manually too. Like, I know this kind of can seem tedious, but kind of nice to see what's averaging down, how the numbers are moving and stuff like that. I'm a weirdo like that. I have both, yes, my Snowball stuff, but also my manual tracking. Just like that, I love my stats and my spreadsheets, right? So IALT, this will be, yeah, nice little average down here. And BLOX, this will be a nice average down. And do the shares and GIAX. This will be a nice average down as well. Great. So that's the full paycheck invested. With all that, if we add all my assets together, so that actually pushes me back up to 400. I actually was dipping below that with all the dips that have happened over the last week and a bit. So I'm at 401.5K in gross value across all my assets. I'm using 182.1K of margin, and which gives me a net value of 219.3K. So yeah, that's where stuff is sitting after all that. And if we go to my margin health to kind of check on things, my equity is sitting at 54.63%. If you take the gross portfolio value and add the blended margin maintenance, my margin maintenance dollar value is 100.3K. So my portfolio would have to fall to this value, right? The net portfolio value to hit a margin call. So that gives me an 118.9K buffer. So really on the net portfolio value, that's a 54.24% buffer. But like I said, so this is what you see in Robinhood, right? And they say this is like low risk or whatnot. Personally, I like going off the gross portfolio value, right? So you basically take this and then divide this by the gross portfolio value, and that gives you 29.63%. So really full assets here could withstand like a 29% drop before hitting a margin call. And this 29% drop would be the equivalent of a 54% drop on the net value, right? So this one's really important to keep in mind. And then with that, if you take the margin total minus out your margin used, my buying power is sitting at 88.8K, and the cash flow for withdrawal is sitting at 44.4K. So yeah, that's the margin health. As far as the monthly dividends with that, I'm sitting now at $5,163 a month. So it's gone up a little bit. And we can actually calculate here how much money I ended up adding to the monthly income here. We can just kind of roughly calculate that. Let's bring out 3 calculators. Let's go crazy. So for BCAT, I invested 2.95, and then let's just check on its current yield here. So 19.72 times 0.1972. So yearly I added $69, divide that by 12. That's $5.8. For GIAX, I invested 10.74, right? And right now it's 0.2344 current yield. So I added $251 a year, divide that by 12, so $20 for BLOX. So 1074.13 times 0.3743 right now. So $402 a year that I added, divided by 12. So added 33.5. So let's plus the 2097 plus 0.8. So added $60 per month in income today through this investing. So nice bump here. You can imagine that like if I keep up that $60 every 4 weeks, that adds like $240 a month of monthly income. If I were to invest in those same ones every week, which it's not necessarily the case, probably averages closer to like 15 to 18%, I'd say. But yeah, that's $5,163 a month in monthly income now. And again, as a reminder, this is for my weeklies. I average out the last 4 weeks to kind of get the average. And then also for the monthlies, I average out the last 3 months. So this number differs a little bit from what shows in Snowball here. It leans a little bit more conservative, and I think is a little bit more accurate in that sense. So yeah, that's the monthly income there. And really through that, you can kind of see that that was the full paycheck invested, right? So really you're seeing how I really practically live out of my Robinhood brokerage account, even though I'm not retired yet. And by using margin, it enables me to really invest my full paycheck. So yeah, definitely the trade-off here is that I am adding to my margin balance, right? And people ask this all the time too, will I ever pay back my margin balance? And the key thing here is my margin balance will be accruing, right? For a little bit. So you can kind of see here, this is just growing, growing, growing. But there reaches a certain point where you can kind of see it here, where my monthly dividends will exceed my monthly expenses, right? And then I'll still be investing in high yield after that. So any excess that gets added to the paycheck after that, right? That will go down to paying down the margin balance. So you can kind of see here, the margin balance keeps racking up, racking up, racking up. And then at a certain point, it reaches a threshold around here where it starts going down, because so any excess that I'm making just starts pushing that down, right? So eventually the margin balance will start getting paid down. As I've mentioned in past monthly portfolio updates too, like once I reach potentially, I still haven't decided whether 70 or 80%, I might actually just keep the margin at that level and always have a little bit, like maybe 20 to 30% margin, and just keep investing. Like any excess might maybe go to growth or maybe more high yield if I want to keep pushing the monthly income, and just kind of keep a certain level of margin. I don't think I'll ever pay it down at this point because I'm getting pretty comfortable with it. And I think 20-30% leverage is relatively light in the grand scheme of things, especially if we check here at 70%, right? I might be at $1 million portfolio size and 750K of net equity, and the margin is relatively small compared to that, right? So we'll see where we end up. And as usual, if you want to support the channel, the best way is to check out the description under any video. You can catch my free Snowball portfolio link, as I've mentioned, my free Blossom social profile, the same spreadsheet tracker that I use here to track my portfolio. You can buy that for $5 on Gumroad. As I've mentioned, the Discord has now gone fully private just to kind of help control the level of people coming in, spammers and all that. I really just want to nurture the current community that we have. We're sitting at like 450 members strong. So you can access that by either joining the Patreon membership or the YouTube membership for $3 a month. And yeah, I love our little community. Just like a lot of great back and forth, a lot of people that are living off their brokerage in a lot of different ways. Some people are doing it with purely high yield. Some are doing it hybrid like me, like high yield and growth. Some people are doing it just purely with growth, right? And some are introducing options. So what I like is that we're really building community here and everyone's helping each other out. And yeah, it's not all just kind of reliant on me giving that information. Like you can get like lots of different opinions on your portfolio, on any thoughts and strategy. So lots of great back and forth with people. You'll get all my trade alerts as well too. A little bit more detail than what you get in Blossom or Snowball, just because like I put more thinking into it and you see exactly from what that income came from. And yeah, so great Discord that I'm really happy with our community. So consider joining if you want. But yeah, that's the video. If you want to keep supporting how transparent I am, give a like and subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified about future videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. I'll be posting my usual weekly portfolio update on Sunday. So catch you in that video. Peace.